Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. Now, like I mentioned yesterday, I don't know if you checked that one out. If not, I'm going to reiterate it here so that everybody knows we're only doing a half week, and because of that, we're not doing any themed content. Instead, just kind of checking out random things. Today, I chose to do a special selection, and that special selection I have chosen is the top one. I'm going in order. I think that's fair. Golly, dude, I'm so sorry about this name. Maklej Matizek. I butchered it. I know. There's no way that that's anywhere near proper. I'm so sorry. But yes, they have asked me to check out Ephel Duath's Ruins. Now, ruins is probably the only word so far I've not had an issue saying. Alright, so we're going to pull this guy up. Ephel Duath. Oh yeah, it might be Duath, like a UEA instead of Duath. Duath? Ephel Duath. I have no idea. But the Painter's Palette, that is a pretty cool album name. And I'm kind of digging the really minimalist album art here, so let's see what these guys are all about. Let's go. Ooh. Dang, they just got right into it. What is going on here? This is like scream jazz. This is wild. And this is a really muddy mix. I think that's intentional, but dang. So we got like a 6/8 thing going on? Not anymore, apparently. This back and forth is wild. And what is going on with these polymeters here? Like a 6 against 4 thing going on. Bassist is kind of doing his own thing. Yeah, felt that one coming. Oh my jeez. Nope, stop that. Apparently I do not have autoplay turned off. Okay, so that was wild. Every bit of it. Every definition of that word would fit here. So, dang. How long was that song? Because that was not very long at all. 5 minutes. That is a lot of stuff to cram into 5 minutes. There's so much to digest there. I could probably talk for the next hour and just scratch the surface with what I heard on a first listen. Like, it is a dense track. But I think a lot of it, if I were to take like a couple of talking points that I really want to zero in on, first of all, the drumming. I don't think this would be the same band without this drummer's style. It's very interesting. It is very jazzy. We're just going to start with that. This is a ridiculously jazzy drumming style. All right. But the way that the drummer feels time and puts different metric concepts into his different limbs, even if it wasn't jazzy, even if it didn't have that weird, like, jazzy ska-ness to it to kind of complement and contrast the punk hardcore kind of thing going on everywhere else in the band. Even if it didn't have those jazzy elements to create that contrast, to create that unique identity, there's still a lot of really crazy modulation going on in, not just any metric modulation going on in the way that he understands time and interprets it through all of his limbs. Like, all 4 of his limbs are on different times all the time. It's insane. The dude's brain is not human. I'm convinced of that. I'm not going to lie. I was enthralled by the drumming. I really tried to focus in on other stuff. I did, but every time I'm like, all right, let's see what the guitar's doing. Oh, dang, look at that. That drummer's like tearing it up over here. I'm like, okay, the singer just tried something new. Let's check oh, wait a second. That drummer's calling me again. Yeah, that's some good stuff over there. Just like the drumming, every second of the drumming is just phenomenal. Inhuman. But yeah, just the way that he feels time and executes that time feel into all of his limbs, different time feels everywhere. Yeah. Just so many strange metric modulations. We got like contrasting time feels all over the place in the drums. And not even just inside the drums, but outside the drums as well. The way that he plays rhythms in different time feels against what everybody else is playing. There's so many sections that to me felt like 4/4, and the drummer's just off doing his own thing. just like, I don't know, maybe he's in 7/8, but somehow he gets it to line up and it sounds disjointed, and then they synchronize up again. I'm like, yeah, all right, cool, I'm digging this. And then he like gets out of sync again. It's just like this fluctuation of going in sync and getting out of sync. And the drummer's just a master of it. His brain is just designed for this. Both thinking about it, like he created this music and the way that all the rhythms line up with each other, and then he played it. And the fact that he did both just blows my mind. I mean, the dude, wow. Um, yeah, I could probably talk about that drummer for a while. I could. Bryan listens to 6 minute song and rambles for 2 hours about drumming. Who would want to watch? I mean, probably a lot of people would want to watch that, but still, I'm not going to do that today. But yeah, that drumming is just, that is on another level. I need a drum cam of this song or maybe anything that this drummer has done. It's just, I can't, what happened does not make any sense to me. But yeah, so like the guitar work, the bass work was really good. It was hidden in the mix a little bit. Speaking of that mix, let's go to the mix next. I just jumped on like 3 topics. Let's go to the mix next. That is a dirty mix. Like ridiculously muddy, grainy. Things just kind of run into each other. It seems overly compressed at times, but I think it all works. The song is muddy. The song is disjointed. It's not a clean song. And I think having that dirty mix really adds to the characteristic of the track. Or the character of the track. We're going to go with that. It adds to the character of the track. It is a dirty song. It sounds dirty. It sounds muddy. Instruments are kind of falling all over each other. Audio-wise, it's really difficult, especially when they get loud. When the guy is screaming, when the guitar and bass are up to 11, when the drummer's just wailing on his kit, a lot of it melds together into an amorphous sound. And like I said, it just kind of fits with what's going on musically. It is a dirty song. It's not clean. It's all over the place. It's garbled at times. It really doesn't have a true identity with how often it flip-flops around so many different concepts. So yeah, it's muddy in its composition and it's muddy in its soundscape. And I think it's just a really nice compliment. Usually I talk about songs needing to sound cleaner. I know a lot of you guys hit me up in the comments. You're like, no, man, the dirty mixes are the best. And, everyone has their opinion. I like clean mixes. I do. I like to be able to pinpoint every instrument, hear them individually and within the group, within the song as a whole. I'm a fan of that. But here it just works really well, and a lot of the people who say they prefer the dirty mixes, I'm understanding that with this track, but only on a thematic level. There's still a lot of parts of me that kind of wish, especially the bass. I think the bass is the one that gets shafted the worst here, because it gets hidden and muddied more often than the rest of the instruments. And the few times that it's shown through and kind of, pierced through the soundscape, and actually I could hear specifically what was happening, there's some really cool stuff going on. So it's a little bit of a shame that some of the genius in the bass work is kind of muddied over and not really prominent enough to appreciate. But I don't think it would be worth ruining the identity of the song by making the mix cleaner and allowing the bass to shine a little more. I just don't think it would work as well. But yeah, so let's go to the singer. Okay, so came in real strong. All right, like screaming. There's a scream yell somewhere in there. A lot of it was, really, like flexed abs, lots of air pressure, lots of support, just real strong, powerful vocals, but not super controlled, if that makes any sense. There's just a lot of untamed wildness about the vocal work. It's not that it seems or is sharp or flat. It appears to be. There's not a lot of like hard chords going on here for a lot of the heavier sections, so it's hard for me to really say what is or is not in key. The key just seems to be amorphous as well. It's another one of those dirty aspects of the song that I do appreciate on, thematically, but yeah, just lots of force and power, almost too much force and power to a point where the vocals are almost distorting themselves auditory. I mean, obviously he's distorting, he's getting the screams and stuff, but they're almost, I don't know, they're hard to pinpoint. And I kind of figured that I got it. I was like, okay, this is just a real raw, dirty singing style. Fits with the song. And then, like 3 minutes in, we go down to a really stripped back section of the track, and it's, I don't know, really calm, soothing. Huge contrast. Like, I did not expect this at all. But then the dude comes in with, I'm not going to say it is a soothing voice, but he did bring it down a lot more and added a lot more, or kind of took out a lot of the anger and power emotion and kind of had a little bit more vulnerability than I was expecting he would be able to display, which is really cool. Range is important to me. I enjoy songs that are more than one thing, and this this was a lot more than one thing. But yeah, so the vocal work just surprised me on that front. Surprised me all the time. I mean, he just came in screaming. Well, I mean, that was a surprise, like being punched in the face with sound. Sonic punch. That's not how that goes. Anyways, yeah, so lots of variety in the vocals, and like I said, surprised me twice with just the really loud introduction, and then the fact that he did show a bit of vulnerability I was not expecting, given the rest of the song up to that point. The song overall, though, is really trapped between three ideas. It has its really stripped back section, that it still has a little bit of a jazzy edge because of the drummer. He tends to do a lot of the really syncopated cymbal bell hits in those sections, which gives it a bit of a jazzy feel. But the instruments kind of strip back, the vocals strip back a little bit, and it's a very vulnerable section, especially compared to the power and dominance showcased throughout the rest of the track. Then we have the ska metal sections. I really don't know what to call it. It's the jazzy drumming with hardcore guitars and screaming. It's a weird combination, but it works to an extent somehow. I'm not really sure how they did that. It should not work by any means. I don't think that combination is anything I would think. Just mash those together. It's got to be good. That's not a chocolate and peanut butter combination right there. But it is. It is. Like, in theory, it doesn't work, but in application, it was phenomenal. Oh, I guess those were the only. I was gonna like have. I was thinking there was like a third section that was straight hardcore, straight metal, but I think that jazzy drumming just kind of, it's everywhere. It's pervasive. So I don't. Yeah, I guess there's only two sections. But the interesting thing is, we've seen songs with two styles, and you kind of jump back and forth between them. That's not something new on the channel, but I do want to point out that they had no clue if they wanted to be a jaggedy, disjointed song or if they wanted it to be a song full of smooth transitions, and they went with both. Sometimes it would just be like wild 4 bars of soft, 4 bars of heavy, 4 bars of soft, 4 bars of heavy, just like jumping back and forth, doing this crazy stuff. And then, sharp cuts. We were, on beat 4 of this last bar, we were soft, and on beat 1 of this next bar, we're coming in screaming. But other times they had these really amazing transitions, just real smooth. And oh man. And it's just, I enjoyed this. I did. It's not. I'm not going to 100% say it's my kind of music. It has a lot of elements that I enjoy in my heavier music, but the thing that gets me, and you guys know, is novelty, man. Novelty. Not novelty, man. That's like a superhero I just created. Novelty, though. This song is extremely novel. I don't know how long I could listen to this band if every song is like this. Eventually, that novelty is going to wear off, and I don't know how strong the song can sit on its own laurels. But I do really appreciate the fact that I never have any clue what's going on. And every minute they're hitting me with something that I had no idea. There's just no way I could have ever expected they would have went in that direction. Even though they did jump back and forth between two modes. Like I said, soft and jazzy and metal and jazzy. Like they really only had two modes, but they had so much vocabulary within those two concepts that they continue to surprise me throughout. So, yeah. I'm so sorry, person whose name I cannot pronounce. Um, Maclej? Ooh, I'm so sorry. I hope that. Anyways, thank you for the suggestion, though. Ephel Duath, they are on my radar. That was just craziness. Head to toe. Insanity. And I loved every bit of it. And I need to check out more. This is where you guys come and know. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you thought about Ephel Duath Ruins. And is this what they do? Like I said, I can't imagine not becoming weary. That's the one I want. I always get the two mixed up when I'm speaking, but I know the one I want when I'm typing. Like the words are, I don't know, my brain works that way. I think I'd get weary after listening to an entire album of it, but like I said, the novelty of a first listen was just, yeah, that's just everything I love about music, just being swept off my feet like that. Not romantically, more like suspensefully. I like being swept off my feet. Anyways, like I said, you guys can hit me up. Let me know what you thought about this track. And again, like I said, if this is what they do all the time. And you can let me know if you enjoyed it, if you didn't enjoy it, if I'm pronouncing it completely wrong. I don't know. While you're down there in the comments, there's a description box you can check out. There's some links there if you're interested about anything adjacent to the channel, such as Patreon or Twitter, or links to blocked videos if you want to check out anything that YouTube doesn't think you should be watching. That link's in there as well. There's also a like and a subscribe and a bell for you to ring for notifications if you enjoy what I'm doing. They help out the channel immensely. That's one way you can help support the channel, but it also helps you immensely if you're interested in getting notifications, wanting to know when I put new stuff out. Alright, so I'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC, with the last kind of random video. Then we're going to do a couple special selections over the weekend, and Monday we're back with themed content. Until then, you guys stay safe out there, keep being awesome, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.